We actually have viewers now, so everyone, thanks for joining us this evening.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Tonight
jokes on
we're
them.
streaming in two places because that's how we get down. Obviously, I'm David. This is Rich, and way over there is Rob, and he's been on our show several times talking about RPG storytelling.
So,
Hello.
Dave, if we look at the layout on this stream, are you below me?
No, we are beside one another.
Okay, just checking.
It's like we're arm in arm, all three of us.
Yeah, put my arms out. Am
Um,
I the cream filling to the Oreo sandwich?
yes.
Excellent.
What's your Oreo flavor? Rich, if you had to be distilled down into an Oreo filling flavor, which one is it?
What's the standard Oreo? It's vanilla, right? Because I am so vanilla. That is perfect for me.
Are you?
And
Are
by the
you
way, all those other pumpkin pie spice crap ones they make, that's BS. If you're gonna go Oreo, just go old school. I kind of like Oreos like I like my D&D.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough. So the other thing is, so I said we were streaming in two places at once. The other Twitch stream is Rob's stream. We have the link for it up in the title card. Twitch/Croyote.
Excellent. Hello.
Hello, Rob.
This is the stream where I play mostly video games and lose at Rainbow Six Siege.
Well, you'll feel just at home here
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
because
it's
I
rough.
never win at anything.
you win. You win at D&D. You win at the role playing games.
That's true because I control the world. So I kind of can make it work my way. And you know what? That is kind of what we're doing today. We're making my world.
Yeah,
You
we're
know, because
making
all
module.
we did all these campfire recordings where you guys kind of went over all these story arcs and all this beauty. And dude, really, I just sit down with Dragon Magazine and I look for some maps and then I look through the other modules and I just copy paste rooms out that I like and I drop them in and I try and create some kind of cohesive theme.
Bro, we're gonna up
to
the
hell
game.
with your
Yeah.
narrative. Give me
Yes.
the graph paper.
And then, whatever comes out the other end is what comes out the other end. And
Right.
sometimes, hey, John,
I
how's it
so
going, man?
extra.
Yep. And we're
It's
gonna up
sometimes
that
the
game.
greatest way it can be.
We're gonna
So,
up that game today, buddy.
all right. So, do we, we really, like all of our show prep, we didn't really go over roles and assignments for this one. Is this maybe just kind of maybe all what I can do is throw out where I think we are for starting or what I think the next steps are. And if I'm in the right vein of learning from our podcast on all the world making and, module, all about stories, we'll be in good shape. If not, you guys can correct me and we can get on the right shape. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're making your module wrong.
Yes, that's exactly because I have been, Robert, 100%.
Well,
But
I have
Stop
a pretty good
agreeing
sense
with me
of
when I'm being a dick.
I have a pretty good sense of what our roles are tonight. Rich, you're making a module, and Rob and I are applying color. And some of that color you will think is a good idea and you'll accept, and some of that you will not.
So we're
I-
shoutcasters.
I love all of it. I'm taking my jacket off. It's getting a little warm in here.
That's right.
Ooh.
So tonight, Rich is going to speed run making a module, and we're the shoutcasters.
Bingo.
That's right.
All right. So,
Oh man, I should have tagged it as speed run. Damn it.
Ooh, that would have been a good one too. How's my camera? Am I beautiful? John, am I beautiful? I don't know. What's my camera look like?
Your camera looks great. I like the blue background.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You
thanks,
got such
Alexa.
good backgrounds, and then there's this. I've been meaning to actually. What I'd like to do is put my camera there,
Yes.
because over there is a wall,
Yes.
and then right here I want to put that sweet ass picture I showed you guys my dad made.
Yes. Yes.
And John's already wondering how I pick colors, and I'm colorblind. What I do is I just tell my computer, and it makes the colors for me. So I know this is blue because I asked for blue. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. High fives.
Now your daughter is really smart at the programming stuff, right? And she could go in there and like change the RGB values.
I just got incredibly happy that my daughter never listens to the podcast or watches any of the streams or the YouTubes because this would be a great idea for her to do.
I had a colorblind teacher who came to school one time with a shirt and pants that were both salmon, and he's like, "This is like." These are normal colors, right? And just like every class is like, no.
The guy selling you that was like, "Oh, I finally unloaded some of this salmon gear."
It was like a salmon button down with
Oh.
salmon
Oh.
pants and a
All right,
green.
well,
That's
DTP just joined the stream, and that means we got to get to work because he's down to listen to us.
That's right.
So I think that's a good time. Okay, guys, we need to make a module for Pax South that's coming up.
Yeah.
It needs to fit within a 4-hour window, and the thing is we're also going to be doing character creation within that 4-hour window. I have found most character creation in the basic D&D world. It takes up 30 minutes roughly.
Oh,
That's
fast.
Yeah. Oh man, you literally rolled the dice 6 times, right? And after you've rolled the dice, you pick your heritage, which could be cleric, fighter, dwarf, elf. You know what I mean? I don't know why they mix them like that, but you pick the thing you want to be your character class.
Right.
And then the spellcasters get to whip up some spells. The adventurers get to pick some weapons. I'll sprinkle in some, what do you want to call it? Magic items.
Sure.
Based upon what I feel after I read through this once or twice. So normally I get done with this and
why are we doing this for Pax South? Because we're sponsoring Pax South, their role-playing game section. So if you're going to Pax South, the RPG zone, that will be brought to you in partnership with, because of High Shelf Gaming. Woo.
And Rich will be guest GMing during the weekend. So if you would like to jump into a game with HSG Rich, you just got to get signed up, and I'll be glad to kill you. And yeah, so wow, we just kind of got through it. I don't think this needs to be the Force story archetype of player versus Rich. I think this needs to be a player versus environment.
Mm-hmm.
Man versus nature.
That's right.
Man versus nature.
So Rob, in my stream, our boxes are reversed from how they are in your stream, and I think that is hilarious.
Went away from you. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that? Does he keep looking at you?
Rich is always between you and me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, wait. No. They're in alignment. They're the same. I was confused.
Just checking.
They're both opposite of how my Discord looks.
Gotcha.
I see.
So my Discord is one way, and then both our Twitch streams is the other. So okay, all right.
Gotcha.
Because what is orientation?
It's
fluid.
Yeah, it's a concept at this point.
Topical dad joke.
Yeah.
I got one or two, man.
Yeah.
And that's all I got.
So 3.5 hour dungeon crawl.
Yes, 3.5 hours. And you know what? You want to end a little early. So 3 hour probably isn't a bad thing, because if I get any rules lawyers in there, if anybody that likes to search every stone, they will be getting the Robert Croy treatment.
The
But
search
if you
every
like
stone treatment where you turn over the third stone and it says fucking move on.
Yes, they will be getting the Robert Croy. So I have to have a dungeon that doesn't take 4 hours. 2.5 to 3 hours is fine. And by the way, guys, that's not a lot of rooms. When you start having combat and you start doing things, it can get a little busy. Mm-hmm. So I got up here off of Don John, and I guess we could link in description below on this link. Would that be a good thing?
Will you just toss it in the chat now?
Just toss it. I can't toss it in the chat.
You can or cannot?
Oh, I can toss it in the chat for Discord.
Oh snap! All right, well then.
So I'm going to send it to you.
You're going to mess all my stuff up. Will you send it to me in like Google Hangouts or something?
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's a really good point, BPR John. Don John is a super popular D&D prep site. So
yes, hence why the idea of that. Let me go send you the link there. And I don't think this link necessarily will get you in the map that I'm in. It's just
a random map.
Yeah, if you watch this and go, oh hey, I kind of want to do that. For something coming up, that you have this resource available for you also. Yeah. Oh, let me see if I can send this to you. Boy, hey, this is going to take a lot longer than 2 hours, Robert. The way we're cruising through this already. Let me get paste.
Oh, no, dude. Rachelson has already beat you to it. Thank you, Rachelson.
Oh, look at that. Man, do we got like the
for the win, man.
I'm telling you.
We're gonna sail right through this because all right. So chat, just tell us how to do this now, because obviously
Chat,
we
you're
can't-
making a module.
Yeah,
Right.
because we are
You know
screwing
what?
this up.
Maybe that would be a good one to do
Twitch-
for Alcon or something.
Twitch
have
makes a
have the
module.
Twitch makes the module. That would be
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, this is the Robert and David episode of that idea. So I got this map up, right?
Yep.
And, you know, if I did 2 floors, that's usually going to be way enough for what we're talking about.
So this one has like 7 rooms. Is that
yeah,
good?
we're gonna bump that up a little.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna bump that
So
up.
I'm really curious. Why are you starting with the map?
Oh, that's just what I always do.
What's the conflict?
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
I
I don't
like
even
here.
know that.
What-
See, this is the thing. I get these maps and I start filling them in. Is all I do. Okay, so
I mean, we can work backwards. We
No,
can
let's
totally
not.
take the map.
no, I want to do this the way it should be done.
No. There's no way any
What-
of this should be done. So
I want to do
I
this
just
the
wanted
way
to
we
understand
talked
why.
about online.
Well,
No, the way we talked about it can be done either way.
yeah.
Oh.
I
Do you
I
want
want
to
to
have a
know.
conflict first, or
I
do
wanna
you want
know-
to have the map and work backwards?
Yeah, I want to know why the map first. That's all.
Oh, I just want just a certain amount of rooms. Like, watch. Let me hit random,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, that one's tiny. I want it to be what I want it to be. Hold on, guys.
You want it to be
Construct.
large. I get you.
Yeah, hold on. Construct.
Oh, you hit
I-
random and it randomized all your selections.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Infesting
now it's
dungeon.
working.
Holy smokes! It's doing all this stuff for us.
Did I just do too much? Oh my God, Jesus. God. Okay, this is a terrible idea. Did you see this? Look at this.
Room 41. Room.
God. Okay, let's go back to the list.
So 4-hour dungeon.
Wow, look at this thing. Look.
Just in terms of like description, it would take you 4 hours to describe all 41 rooms.
That's right. So we're gonna hit random again, see what comes up. I don't want tiny. I thought I could.
No, you're hitting random and it's changing all the selections for the thing.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
You need to.
I see what you're saying. I'm trying to catch up to you here. Okay, dungeon level 1.
Yeah.
And we are gonna make this a Underdark.
Okay.
Who cares about the random seed? Parchment, graph
I'm getting
paper,
some terrible sound out of Discord right now.
Oh
grid
no.
square. Oh wow. So, dear Shelfies, how does it sound to
You
you?
sound good to me.
Yeah, on your side it sounds great. I'm sorry.
Oh, Rob, what I would do if I were you is I would start closing down some of the stream playback you're watching. Because I bet it's a bandwidth thing. I bet all the Twitch streams you have open. Like, you stream to yours, but stop watching mine. Or something. Or stop
Let's
the
find
video
out.
playback. So you're still seeing the chat, but stop the video playback.
Let's find out. We're done with that. Talk.
Yes.
1 2 1 2.
One of my Apex Legend buddies that was into streaming a whole lot, he would stream and then pull up like 10 other people and watch their streams so they got good numbers, and he would like talk in their stuff while he was streaming his own stuff, and like his bandwidth was going to shit. And I was like, hey dude.
And he was starting to wonder why.
Yeah, I was like, hey, maybe don't watch 8 streams at once while you're also streaming. Just a
So
thought.
quick question. If I exit this call and come back in just to check, because I only shut down, I only had like 1 stream up.
Oh, okay.
If I come back in, will everything go back to where it was originally? Or will
Yes,
it put me in a new
yes, yeah.
spot?
We will all see a weird layout, and then when you come back in, it will all restore to the way it was.
Burb.
He
Okay.
said burb. It doesn't even. All right, good.
What is that word? I don't even know what that
Burp?
word.
Be right back, but just
BRB.
said aloud.
Lamau.
It's how the kids are doing it, buddy.
Oh, bird.
You ain't
Whoa,
hip,
I
Rich.
just got what now?
You ain't hip.
You got whooshed. You got whooshed.
Listen, my dudes, I got some hipness. If you want me to drop the T on the stream, I'll drop some T because this
What?
boomer knows what. There, Don just popped out. Quit being a boomer.
Stop being a boomer. God. Oh man, I'm not. What
Okay,
about this map right that we got right now? I kind of like it.
I'm into it.
I'm just trying to see how that changes the preview because that's kind of what happened.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Oh,
So
so now
we're
it's
about to-
a clearer background. I see what you're saying.
Right.
I see what you're
So
saying.
now we're about to walk into this. I just kind of went through the settings. Let's now just make it construct. Are you guys ready for this?
All right, let's see what happens.
Let's see what comes out of this.
Make me a dungeon.
Make me a dungeon. And by the way, I've normally just dig through old Dragon magazines till I find a map I like and I
Oh,
start
yeah.
utilizing it.
I rip off maps from other places all the time.
Oh shit!
Man,
Oh.
is this really bad to look at on the stream? But I kind of like this map.
Okay, so it
a
has
little confusing.
22 rooms.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it down a notch. Let me
Okay.
go command minus.
Can-
And let's kind of, ooh, yeah, that fits my screen really well. Does that look okay on your screen?
Yeah, it looks fine on the stream, but I'm asking you as the dungeon master here, do you want 22 rooms?
Yeah, man, this looks like it could be a fun one.
All right. This is a 4-hour dungeon or a 3-something-hour dungeon?
Man, my gut's telling me this could be a fun one. Yep.
All right.
My gut's telling me we could make this.
I never do dungeon crawls. I have no estimation on how long this would take.
Now, I do like how you notice how this dungeon, this grid paper, this is genius. It's a what do they call it? Oh, I forget the name of it, but all of the hallways, north, south, east, and west, line up so you can have this piece of paper and then another random piece of paper and just put them side by side and just build an epic, huge dungeon with just side by side map sections. I forget what this style is called. I used it for the Traveler game.
I don't know.
That's cool though.
A geomorph. It's a geomorph, is what they call that. Sorry.
And by the way, we crude doodle, which
That's Ben.
Oh, is that Ben? Because I was going to say Ben. I would like to see some of your doodles sometime if they're crude. But he likes the ones that kind of loop in on themselves, and we even have a little bit of love that could happen with the way these kind of happen. They kind of go off and then back in.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, some of these things we close off while we're talking, right? We can close off. I'm up here in that northeast quadrant.
Yeah.
We could just close that off as we're talking.
Gotcha.
We're going to have to talk about points of egress and stuff later. But I also now realize why I look at the map before I even get started. I didn't even know I do this till I was doing it while we're doing this. Is I can look at the map and start to see something like, oh, should this dungeon have something to do with a flower? Should we do? You see how this kind of looks like a flower to me, like it comes out from the center.
I understand what you mean. I was going to say something about cardinal directions, like if you made something about it, like the idea of being a compass-like thing.
That you're so yes, no, this happens to me by accident. It's not organic at all.
That's
it's just I stumble in this stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of symmetrical because you've got like 4 semi-equally sized rooms. Yeah.
And
okay.
well,
okay.
the inside is much more clearly defined than the outside. So it feels like that's where they started, right? And then as you branch out, it might get rougher and like rougher stone and less actually developed.
So we're going to end up a little bit player versus nature, right? Because they're really just trying to compete somehow in this dungeon to get something. They have a quest ahead of them. So really, there's no reason for anything to continue. It all needs to end at the end of this adventure.
Real quick, DTP, PAX Unplugged is this coming weekend in Philly, but this game that we're making today is going to be played at Pax South January. Oh, fuck.
I don't know. I need to be there, I think, on the 17th. Is that right?
Do you have
it the
your
17th?
badge and everything?
Yes.
Oh, my
Yes.
God. Yeah,
on,
Pax
let me
South is January 17th, 19th.
See, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Down in
I
San
knew it.
Antonio. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's what I said, bruh. I said that. 17th.
Do you have a badge? Are you gonna be allowed in the door to do the thing that we're hosting?
Dude, I'm going to run that place.
All right, good.
They're going to, of course, let me in. No, yes, I pick up my badge the day before or day of or something like that. So I do not have a badge on me. I only have, thanks, dear listener, for posting January 17th through 19th.
Well,
Chat
GM
just takes care of, Chat just takes care of itself. So think about this. It's a player versus nature scenario we're walking into.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to come up with a goal. And what's funny is I work backwards. I find out what their goal is, and then I start working out from that, right?
Okay.
So
is there a goal like escape or find the thing or
find the thing is what is in my head. But that's just what's in my head, guys.
Okay.
This could be an
MacGuffin.
escape thing.
Yeah. No, I like the MacGuffin approach.
Oh, but if they actually have to escape, what if they take the right way and they get out?
Then they've escaped. I don't know.
Of course, I am
They
the
won.
DM.
They won.
What's beautiful? No, what's beautiful is we could make each one of these an escape route.
What if I made a game where they had to escape? Yeah, that sounds great. What if they escape? Then they win.
Well, what's great is that I can keep moving the escape route. So if they explore the bottom corner,
So real talk, I was looking at this. How wacky
in the top corner?
How wacky do you want it to be? Because I was actually looking at it, and do you see how each quadrant, right? If you cut it into fours,
Yep.
each quadrant has the same, as Dave was saying, the same paths out.
Yep.
What if oh god, okay, so this is, you shouldn't do this, but this is a thought I had. What if like there's a time shift or something, and as they go through something, they appear, like they go through it, and then they're in another quadrant that we were using it as quadrants, but it's like differently styled, some other time in time. So you can have like a really decadent one where it's like all rich and fabulous, and then they go through the door and they come out and it's just like ramshackled, and they have to find the right one. So you're taking them through the passage of time, and you can build a story narratively into the structure around them.
You had me at Quantum Leap.
All the story benefit is like, but the idea of you walk through the door and all of a sudden the stone is clearly the same building, but the stone has gotten worn and cracked and dry, and you can see it starting to, yeah.
And then they turn around and try to go back through that door, and it's just like a normal hallway. It's like, aha, you're screwed. It's now.
Yeah. Well, and then they go further on. It's like you feel the sense that this room is warm, as if the fire was just snuffed out, and whoever was here just left, right? And there's always this mystery about who left this place.
Yeah. Oh shit! What if like it's a?
I like how Rich is furiously taking notes as we're just riffing.
If it's like it's a wizard of some description, right? Dude guy, and your higher, like, they want a thing from you, and they want a thing from him, and he has like time magic, and they're like, hey, adventurers, go get me the time MacGuffin. And it's like, okay, so you like go into his lair, and he's not there, and you also can't find it, so then you have to go through the portal that he had just made, that he went back in time. So then the final boss is him, and you have to take his fucking thing to get back in time to give it to the people who hired you.
Yes.
Because he's trying to do a thing back in time.
I think we got it.
Okay. Now the chat actually has some really nice stuff in here. So Whack Mackie, yeah. So we were kind of talking about making the hallways loop back around and do this like cool timey-wimey thing, which I know, Rich, you're gonna love.
I know, dude. You already know I like that idea. It reminds me of the Doctor Who episode where they were like on the.
Rob has a thing.
So they start, right? So they start in the present, and then they go back into the farthest past, and they follow him forward through time. And then anything they do to the structure in the past is still in the next present.
Oh my god. Okay, this feels a lot like. Did any of you watch the Canadian horror film A Cube?
Yes.
Oh my god! I was talking to Cassie about that the other day.
This feels a lot like Cube, where it's like if they just stayed in the one room and didn't do anything, everything would be fine.
If they had just like chilled out, the dude would be back, and then they could murder him here. But no, that's not how D&D goes.
That's not how you're a murder hobo. You got to go find him.
Okay. So anyway, that's an idea.
Yeah. John, the Holy Relic idea, I think we're right in line with this, right? There's some sort of relic, there's some sort of like grand, powerful artifact that's making all this stuff happen. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The Pac-Man looping around thing, yes, absolutely. I'm just going through chat real quick.
Do we then have to have a start room that leads to this map? And when I say a start room, you're talking about meeting the time wizard guy.
Dude, I think if we're inspired by Cube, they just wake up in one of these rooms.
Okay, love it.
If that's our inspiration. If not, I totally get like, hey, you are...
Well, if they do the Cube thing, can we still build in the time wizard? Because I love the idea of the time wizard being their final...
Why not?
Boss.
Yeah, it could
be. You can do anything as long as you justify it.
Yeah. You could say you all had accepted this quest,
right?
And when you showed up, you blacked out or something, right? And now you've awoken in this room.
Oh, so Ben Crew Doodle has an excellent point, which is if you do time travel and they go through the same rooms, you'll need several descriptions of the same rooms.
Okay, I can't do that. That's way too much work for me. Now that he's brought that up, that is way too much work.
What?
Seriously?
That's like
That's the appeal of this particular
Oh.
dungeon.
you could do past and present.
But I don't really need to change the room. I need
No.
to change the general description.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's it. That's
Okay,
it.
okay,
That's it.
You don't change the room. Just like you go in the past, right? And it's got like a portrait of a dude.
It's got past
and then,
shit.
and then you go into the future and you see the portrait of the dude now has like a family. And then one of the rooms has been converted into a bedroom or
Oh
like a
my god.
right? And then you go into the next one and the family's gone. And you find a diary about how he's like ravaged with time and wants to go back.
Are we too big on this map for this idea?
So
No.
there is the concern that if you have 3 different, past, present, future, or
Right.
whatever, then you effectively have 3 maps. But I think you can structure this in such a way that, realistically, as they move from room to room, or you come up with whatever the mechanism by which they change their time, maybe that doesn't happen too often. Maybe it only happens like twice, or something along those lines. So you're not you're not really you're not asking them to go visit the same room many times over in order to see it in different times.
Right. And Ben has a good point. Just make it past and present.
Yep.
And it's probably annoying to do, but my initial suggestion was to use a quadrant as its own dungeon, not like the whole dungeon and then the whole dungeon again. I meant like use a quadrant because they're geomorphic, they're kind of rotating, because you get the idea that there's a big room which is very similar in each of them, but then there's slight alterations. That's what I meant.
I see what you're saying. So actually what we're looking at here is
It's 4 different dungeons.
4 different or the same dungeon in 4 different times.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh.
So
I don't know if
Richard
that's good.
Yeah, I
but
don't know.
My point is only now I'm clear.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay,
the
so
doors are going to
I-
change.
I'm gonna have to make I you know what? I almost want to cut and paste this real quick and bring it into an editing program real fast.
Yeah. Can you share
Yeah.
that with us?
And let's try that. Let's just do the old Command Shift 4, right? And let's just kind of grab this.
Hey
Right?
Max, I see you in my stream as well, and I appreciate the solidarity.
And well, what is my paint program called on here? What
Yes.
happened?
Yeah, and I like Whacked Mackey's point there that you could give them some sort of task in order to affect which time they're in, some sort of puzzle or some sort of riddle or something like that, to help them eventually gain agency over which time they appear in.
So yeah, if you have 3 hours, make 1 hour they're forced into one timeline, another hour they're forced into another timeline, and then the last hour they get to they have agency over how they move.
Yeah, between the two, between past and present.
Dude, have a fucking chase scene through time.
Oh.
Trying to get this guy?
Okay, I can't bring this up into a graphics program because I reloaded my laptop and I don't have all my little apps in place, but I have my little mouse pointer finger thingy. Can you see this okay?
Yeah, I can see your finger thingy.
So as I look at this map, and we
Hey,
talked about that being 4 pieces.
Our program lets you do like a markup. Do you want to do like a WebEx markup thing where you annotate?
You are so smart, Dave. Yeah, I do want to do an annotate. And I can start annotating to where as we talk about this being 4 different sections, right?
Right.
I'm just gonna do a can I just do a line with this thing?
Oh yeah, do a line.
If I look at this, this is kind of my, can I hold shift key and it's flat? Oh yes, you can. This is kind of it. You see what I mean?
Oh, that's yellow now. Can you make that different? Oh, that's so hard to see.
Okay.
Can you change the color to be a darker color?
Let me erase this.
I'm trying to be friendly to your sensibilities.
Yeah.
Here. Yep.
Let's go black.
Yeah.
And
Is
now
it
let's
possible
go.
to make the map bigger during this part? We were trying that, Max, and it was giving us some real hell.
Yeah, you know what I could do on my side? I could make the I can make the box for everything bigger, so that as you're experiencing of this thing, you're seeing it a little bit bigger. 1 second.
I like these annotation tools. This is the right way to do this.
All right, I'm gonna.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, everybody on stream, just hold on to your butts, okay? Because shit's gonna get weird.
We're holding butts.
Yep. Really, I just say that because I like Samuel L. Jackson, and he says, "Hold on to your butts." Man, where do I put you guys? I think, Rich, I'm going to put you down here.
Okay.
Rob, I'm going to leave you where you are.
I look excellent here.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move the game box and the monitor capture behind you guys. Boom. Oh, this looks terrible. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you should see my stream.
Is it bad?
It's a hodgepodge. I just wanted to get it going. There we go. There we go. Dave, that looks good.
Okay. All right. It's bigger now. Hopefully it's clearer for everybody.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. Comment if it's still terrible and you want me to make more changes. I'm happy to make more changes. All right.
All right. So I did the split, right? And I kind of see where you're going because look, they're almost the same thing as you were saying, right?
They have the main symmetry. Room, and then they have differences.
Yeah, but they have that same kind of idea. So is this kind of what you were talking about, like a past one, a present one, and a future one, or was it? What was it? It was past.
I think I like the idea that what came out of chat a little bit is simplify this to have like 2 times, like past and present. So we just picked 2 of these, right? So which one of these represents the past and which one represents the future? There's some renovation, right? In the future, maybe there's more exits out of the room and that kind of thing.
And if you want to just make it past and present, if you want to have a more fulfilling dungeon crawl, just use the left half as the past because the rooms are more blocky, and then the right half has more elaborate.
Yeah, those twisty hallways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And are you talking about just this bottom quadrant here? Or are you
the left top and the top left and top?
Oh,
top
yes, I see what you're this one here, as in the top left.
Yep.
We would look at this as past. And then we would look down here as present. That right?
Sure. I meant the 2 on the left and then the 2 on the right. So you can have a larger initial dungeon.
Well, then what happens is then I just erase this line right here. Yep. And that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Do you see what he's saying?
Yeah. I think that looks
and then
good.
we could even then do some things like this. Or I could do some things where I get rid of some of these rooms.
But look at, I love, I'm loving this because, Rob, like rooms 7 and 8 can be the same room, but you get to them in different ways. And then rooms 6 and 5, same idea, different ways of getting into the same room.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is great. I'm loving this process.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not quite man versus nature anymore, unless we want to do more with that.
The wizard is actually a being of nature and is a bee or something.
Old granddaddy time.
Yes.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely, man. Definitely, us versus wizard is way more in line with D&D.
Yes.
Right. I had an idea, but it's too much for a con. So that's cool.
All right, so now this all started when I started saying, how do we get them into this? And I think we've come up with the idea. Well, we start talking about waking up in the room, right? Cube. But do we go with the idea someone was talking about earlier? Imagine being with this guy and you just brought him the thing. And he goes through the portal. You go to leave, you can't leave, and then you go through the portal behind him. Who was talking about that?
That was me.
Yeah.
Expand on that idea.
How do we get it? How do we get in here initially?
So he's like your contact, and you're delivering this artifact to him, and then immediately he's the bad guy, or something like that.
They could start the adventure with the thing they're delivering to him, and then we go from there. We don't have to have a reason they even have the things they have. It's just, hey, you guys are just back from this adventure. You're returning this to this guy. They give it to them, and then they're just in one room, right? And that one room, all of a sudden, they go through that portal, and they're in this past or present environment.
I'm actually super into the idea of having already
on.
having had the item.
Yeah, and what if? And I'm going to draw this one again. Hold on, let me grab this one. I'm just going to talk this idea out loud, right? What if this thing starts like in room 10, right? And they meet with the guy. They go through the portal, and now they're in room 9.
Right. Oh, and
I have
we don't have this door because it's in the past. We only have one door, but in the present they had 2 doors. So I see where you guys are kind of going with that change of rooms.
So the other thing I'm thinking is maybe because we get to play with past and present and timey-wimey shit, maybe what they need to do is get to themselves before they handed the thing over and get it from themselves.
They start
Holy smokes.
So they start the adventure giving it to him, immediately getting fucked for it. So then the adventurer is trying to capture themselves so that their present selves can take it from their past selves to restart the adventure at the beginning. And then kill him there. Okay. Oh, and then we're just going to straight up steal this from Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, which is the bastard love child of my 2 favorite games. And what's going to happen is when they go back in time, fucking time itself gets really pissed off that you exist in 2 places at once. So now your man versus nature is the universe is trying to destroy you. Because your past selves are fine. You're not. You shouldn't be here.
Oh, yeah. Like you feel this strain, this like pit in your gut trying to pull you back to the present where you're totally fucked.
No, man, just make it like a freaky time entity that's like actually chasing you.
Oh, I like that. Okay, hold on a second. John, as you cast a spell, 5-foot radius, blue circle indoors encloses you. Yeah. I like the idea of having some kind of like big effect, letting them know that they're in the same room, but the time has changed. I really like that idea that, John, you're detailing there with the spell.
All right, so let's go back to the beginning.
Because I think this is going to be a little trippy, right? It's going to be a little freaky. So we need to make some very clear signposts, guideposts that you're in the same place. The time has changed, right? Like by hour 2, they need to know this. They maybe don't need to know it on the first moment, but man, if they are like,
no, I agree. This has to unfold for them early, that they get what's going on, and then trying to figure out how to use the mechanic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their initial teleportation will just feel like they've been taken somewhere, not someone.
Yeah, because that's all they're expecting is to be somewhere.
Right. Ooh, I like Crew Doodle's idea of that they start to mutate the longer they stay in the wrong time.
That's actually, I'm glad Ben said that, because I was actually just thinking, like, what if you start the game with like a kind of boss fight with these strange entities, and you take the magic artifact from them, and that is your original past self trying to take them from you.
That's the opening encounter. We make them fight that.
And then they get to the wizard, who then send themselves back, and they slowly over time see themselves transform into these things, except this time they succeed and they take it from themselves as monsters, and then they fuck up the wizard, and then they become normal again.
Rich, what do you think?
Okay, what's really funny is I've got a module that has these time beans in it. Just a download from Bigfoot Barefoot
Dragon's
resources. Foot. Dragon's Foot, yeah, just a download from Dragon's Foot that has these time elemental basic, or maybe they're AD&D based monsters.
I'm going to link Dragon's Foot in the chat for everybody, just so you all got it.
Yes, and I think it's the one we played online, where they were the baddie in the temple room that you guys unbelievably closed the door on. And so I have a monster type in my archives that could fit this idea of this time elemental monster. right?
That's good.
And they're pretty powerful. Okay, so let's kind of swing back through that because I'm writing notes. Swing back through this idea.
All right, so yeah, from whenever you play around with like time jumping, shit has to make sense because people are gonna like really get mad if it doesn't. So the game starts and they're in a fight, and there's these like weird mutated humanoids, monstrous looking things that have this MacGuffin. They're clearly injured, so shouldn't be too hard to take it from them. They do so, right? They're gonna win this fight, right?
They have to win this fight.
Otherwise,
otherwise why they come to PAX?
Yeah.
So they're gonna win this fight.
Number one, get the fuck out.
Yeah. So Rich, don't kill them in the first fight. So
promise.
Yeah,
I'll let
because
them
they're fighting a weakened version of themselves, right? So they're fighting. Oh, okay. They're fighting a weakened versions. They're fighting the monsters. They win the fight. They get the MacGuffin, right? And there's some sort of shimmering disturbance on a wall nearby them that scares them out of the room, right? Like you can see the brick starting to undulate. The whole place is starting to shake apart, and they get the F out of there, right?
Yep.
Because that's the effect of them coming back later, right? So they get the F out of there, right? And then they hand over the MacGuffin. Oh, thank you so much. And the double cross, right? The double cross happens. They go through the whole thing, piece back together. They need to go back in time. So then they go back in time and they pick up the MacGuffin. It's just somewhere in here.
So they get the MacGuffin in the past.
Right. And then they run into themselves as fresh fighters or whatever. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah. No. I got it.
Yeah.
It starts with them fighting themselves.
Yep.
They take the MacGuffin from themselves. They don't know it's themselves. They give the MacGuffin to the dude. Dude sends them back into the past, and they're like, "This seems really familiar." Because
dude double crosses them and sends them in the past.
Yes.
Because he's just like, "Well, I don't need you anymore." So it's like Jafar, but with like time. So then he sends them back into the past. Now, when they're in the past, this is before the adventurers like ever actually got it. Right? I want you to. This is like long before.
Right.
So now that they're in the past, way in the past, they go through this dungeon that looks, and then the final room might look very similar to where they fought themselves, but not yet. Then they get the MacGuffin, and then they figure out how to use it to send themselves forward in time. Oh. And then they go through the dungeon again, and then that is where they finish killing themselves so that the monsters don't take it from them. They retain it. Then they fight the evil wizard. During this, they're figuring out where they are. I wish I could draw.
Okay, so who are they as the monsters?
So,
right.
Rob, you can draw. On the there's a little little annotate button. It looks like a squiggly line. It should be a squiggly line, and you can draw on the right hand side. It'll be a good.
Where do I see squiggly lines?
He's on the web client.
Oh, I don't know where it is on the web client. Fuck.
Fudge.
Participant. You share, edit, meeting, welcome message. No, I don't know how I can help with this.
All right. Never mind.
So I'm going to kind of go back through this real quick because this is our hook, right?
Yeah.
They start the fight. We just start them in the middle of the fight. You got your brand new characters. There's these weird humanoids in front of them.
In media res.
In say it again.
In media res.
What's that mean?
In the moment, right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So they just start off right then. They are in a fight. Now and they're going to see that they're fighting these humanoid looking things, but they got this really crystal clear looking MacGuffin, right?
Yeah.
And so they kill those guys. They get the MacGuffin, and they do have the back knowledge that they're supposed to hand that over. Yeah. So I'll fill them in on back knowledge. They then go back out of the room or to the next. Oh no, I forgot about the big shimmering wall.
Don't worry about that. Here, I can better explain what I was trying to say.
So get rid of the big shimmering wall. Okay. They defeat the monsters. They got the MacGuffin. They go to hand over the MacGuffin itself. We do a little backstory, fill in after where they started, so they kind of hear a little bit about what happened. They give it to the dude. The dude goes, "Oh, thanks. Oh yeah, what about all that gold we're supposed to get? Oh, gold? I think not." And sends them into the past with the MacGuffin.
Yes.
So it's very obvious that he just took the thing that you just gave them.
He sends them into the past and keeps the MacGuffin for himself. But
That's
in the past, the MacGuffin is there.
And that's the thing is they're going to then go back in the past. They're in the exact same room, and no one can really remember exactly how they got to where they fought the monsters. They just know now they've got to figure their way back through the maze that's now the past version of the first room or the first time they went through it.
It's really close to what I was trying to say.
Now go.
Yes. So they're in time period now, right?
Okay.
They give the MacGuffin to the guy, sends them back. Time period now. They fight the monsters so that they can take the MacGuffin from them.
Okay.
We later learn that was themselves. Give it to the big bad, sends them back in the past. Just bullshit numbers, just to make it easy. 100 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. So if we started in the present, which is now, they go back 100 years ago, and that is where they get the initial MacGuffin. So they go through the dungeon, and then you can do whatever you want there. Like, we can talk about like crazy dungeon stuff for that, whatever. Then they get the MacGuffin. But remember, time hates them. Being back here, like time literally is trying to destroy them for existing in the past when they shouldn't. Then they get the MacGuffin. Then they use the MacGuffin to go in the future, which is the present. But here's the thing. It's the present, but like 3 hours back. Right? That's the important part. It's the present, but before the fight that started the session.
Right. Right.
That way they can work their way through another, because they think they've just been teleported. They don't understand where all this magic's just trying to kill them. They think they've just been teleported. Their second time through the dungeon, they'll understand that it was a time thing. Then going through that, the monster or the time is chasing them through time to get to them again. By this point, they fight themselves, and they should look like it was the very first encounter, except this time they win, and then they double-cross the double-crosser. That's the important thing, is that it goes back 100 years or some crazy huge amount of time to actually get the artifact in the first place.
Right.
Then they go forward back in time to the present, but like a couple hours beforehand.
Because it's inaccurate.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. A couple of hours beforehand so we can go through the dungeon again. Yeah. That gives us the revelation of, oh, that was us.
The monsters were them.
Right.
Yes.
And where are they in this monsters? I don't feel that I know who they are. Script of who when they were the monsters.
So we need to make a situation where the players are fighting a monster to get the MacGuffin. Right? They fight the monsters, get the MacGuffin, and then they go through and get double crossed.
Back 100 years.
When they go back 100 years, that begins the process of them becoming those monsters.
Over the course of 100 years.
Well, over the course of time, you're mutating them as they go through this dungeon, so they have this like real sense of urgency to get shit done, because they're constantly being jacked with by time. And so they get it done, they get to the MacGuffin, and out of desperation, they use the MacGuffin to take them back to when they once were, or where they once were, or something. Right?
Are you a big fan of scripting scenes?
Explain that.
So, like, what you could do is, as they're like, oh man, I don't want to make it sound heavy-handed. So they go back in the past, right? And they're like, where are we? Feel like the and that's it.
We're going to have some heavy-handed parts in this because we just don't have time, right?
Oh, good. Okay, good. So then they're walking around and they're like, what is this place? Then they find the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin gave the wizard, like, what is this? But here's the thing. As they are there, let's say there's mirrors around because they like mirrors, and it's going to be about reflection in time. Whenever they see themselves in the reflection in the past, their reflection looks mutated.
Oh, love it.
Then, as they personify it, literally make an entity that's going to chase them down, is going to kill them, and then they have to use the MacGuffin to escape it. It's not a choice to activate. It's just like, if you do not do this, you will die.
Right.
They use it, and then they jump back into the future, which is now the present. In this time period, they look mutated to themselves. They should understand what the fuck has just happened, and when they look in the mirrors, they look normal. So it's the flip is in the past.
Right. So I think there's going to be an interesting decision point, because they're going to run into themselves.
Whoa. Hold on. Robert, what was that last sentence?
I don't remember.
They get to the present, and when they look in the mirrors, they see themselves as mutated now.
No, they see their unmutated self in the mirror, but when they just like look at their hands and each other, they're mutated, which is the opposite of in the past.
Gotcha.
So here's what I'm thinking. we're kind of giving them this is your path. I have this big time entity that's going to kill you unless you proceed. You're escaping the time thing, so in desperation, use the MacGuffin to go forward in time, or back to where things were, or what have you, right? And then there's this kind of decision point, because by now, once they see themselves, because they're going to recognize themselves showing up all fresh and clean and like in the present, here to kill some monsters, right? At this point, I think this is where some like really cool like player decision comes into play, because they could decide, oh, we are the right ones to carry this forward. We have to kill these ourselves. We have to kill these people so that we can carry the MacGuffin forward. Or we can decide to communicate with ourselves and tell ourselves what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Either be a murder hobo or don't.
Right.
And imagine if we let them communicate, then what happens is their party of 5 becomes a party of 10.
Yeah. And then you can make this boss like super nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's
Yes.
So here's what I'm thinking is, one, there is a really cool game, an indie game called Swapper, where you have this like little gun and it lets you move your consciousness into another person's body. And when you get there, they have the little swapper gun that lets them do this thing. And so you're swapping all along. And at the end, you have to decide, now that you understand the truly horrific nature of the thing that you're doing by swapping your conscious with somebody else and leaving them to die behind you as you progress through this dungeon, at the end, you have to decide like which way you're going to go. So I love the idea that all of this is going up to a critical player decision moment of, are you 5 people or 4 people or how many players you have? Are you the right people to carry this forward? Are they the right people to carry this forward? Or can you somehow parlay so that all of you carry this forward together?
That's really good. And then to bring a capstone on it, like to bookend it, if time itself is literally trying to erase you from existence, what if there was a possibility of sending him back in time so that time kills him? And then you see that effect eventually. Like when time erases someone, you can see that manifest somehow. So that if they send him back, they can see a manifestation of that in some other way because time got him. Also, to talk to John really quick in the chat, every RPG you play is railroaded to some extent. It is inevitable. Okay, continuing.
I am looking. I lost my chat stream, so I quit. I started looking at other stuff on my phone, getting ready for this, and I lost my chat stream.
You're fine. Okay, so all right. Is the time loop making sense now?
It is, except for the fact I don't understand how come they're the original monsters.
Oh, because it's a time loop. They failed last time. They succeed this time.
Got it.
Oh, and maybe we throw in a little hint that like there was another time where they failed so much that however time destroys you happened to the past crew. Like maybe it turns you into stone or something like that. So on their way in, they're passing these 4 figures. They're deeply mutated, but like shadows of mutations imprinted on the wall or stone or a tapestry.
Oh my God.
So
what if they have to battle themselves to get back through to the MacGuffin in the past? Or is that just get too murder hobo?
No. I wouldn't do that.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah, no, I do. But then if you do that too much, it spoils the possible reveal.
Oh, because they're not going to want to cooperate at the end. They're going to be too used to killing each other.
So here's my question:
and you also run the risk that they won't kill each other. If they figure out that they are if they figure out that they are the same person, then
and they need.
I like the idea then of just seeing them in stone, or seeing them in a pond, or a reflecting pool. They see themselves in some different places as the time entities trying to get them. They go, "Wow! If we stick around, that's going to happen again to us."
And you can have I'll get to that in a second. How many players are you expecting?
Oh, 5, 6.
Okay, good. So then the initial encounter is like 2, because then you see how they died in the past, right? Like this is the party that got to this point,
Right.
right? So then like they could be walking around, and then like, and as they enter a room, like you hear a blood curdling scream that echoes through, and then like point to a player. You think you hear your echo, and then they see like ghostly visages of like time destroying someone, and that ripples through the past, which could be foreshadowing on how possibly the wizard gets destroyed at the end.
Right. Right. Yeah, because that's the other thing is like if we only see the wizard destroyed by time at the end, it won't make a lot of sense. We need to show them themselves getting destroyed by time in the present.
Yes. Or yeah, exactly.
In the present that they're in.
Yeah, so like on their way to fight the monsters to get the MacGuffin, they need to see some weird spooky shit.
Yeah, this is like a pseudo horror almost.
Yeah, they need to see some spooky shit where they see like weird mutated versions of themselves be rended and turn into just a ghostly ichor splattered against the wall or whatever, however we want the time thing to kill things. They need to see that or ghosts of that happen, and then they see these monsters, they fight the monsters, they go through the whole thing, right? And then when they get thrown back in time, they can see this time entity, and they're going to recognize it. They're going to recognize it from the very first time they entered the dungeon and saw it destroy party members themselves, each other.
That's perfect, because then you can foreshadow how you're going to have the time to actually attack them in the place.
All right, sheet number 3.
Do you like what we're doing?
Yeah, no, this is great, dude. This is going to be a hell of a module. This is going to be a lot of fun. Okay,
I don't know shit about mechanics. I'm just saying what if.
And you know what? I almost, at this point, we don't need you to populate the rooms, right? We're writing the story. Populating the rooms is, heck, I could even, it's in there. Populating the rooms is just dropping things in. So let's start back over, because I think we've deviated in a few little spots, right? So let's start back over from the top, which is, hey guys, thanks for playing. Okay, Tom, or whatever I'm going to let you annotate. Okay. Tom, or whoever this player's character's name is, right? And I described the scene. He's being shot at by whatever the monster is. They immediately are in a fight, and every player will get that. You can start players in fights. They do a great job. So they'll be in a fight. They'll immediately recognize there's monsters. They'll immediately recognize they have to kill the monsters and get the MacGuffin.
I would back up.
Go on, tell me.
Because we need to build in some foreshadowing about the Nemesi.
And this was about the time rot,
right?
Where they see now go. So start over again. How would you start it?
So I would start with, you guys are on this adventure. You are in an old manor or castle or this thing that is haunted by a disturbing presence, and you are here to find the orb or whatever, the MacGuffin. You're here to find this thing. And as they're going through it, you give them 1 or 2 rooms where when they come into the room, you describe what's on the walls, the mirrors or the tapestries or whatever they are. However you want to communicate some things around aging and time play. You describe those things because they're going to need to see those things later in a different condition.
And by the way, Robert, this is where I'm thinking of. They see the family portrait with the old dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when they go back in time, they see the young owner with the puppy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
sure. So there's 2 things that need to be loaded very heavily in these rooms. One, whatever it is that helps us indicate time shifting without saying time shifting. So art, tapestries, mirrors, what have you. And then the second thing is they need to see some ghostly versions of themselves or of adventurers that are, looking like your typical adventurer, being utterly and totally destroyed by some vorpal, shimmery thing, whatever you want, however you want to describe this time demon thing.
You should look up Prince of Persia Dahaka.
Okay.
Yeah, T-Cal, great. Oh, that's a great idea. So T-Cal is a really good idea. So they see these ghostly images.
Oh my fucking God, T-Cal, I love you.
Yeah, so they see these ghostly images, and they're tracking down these monsters. Third room, let's say they find the monsters with the MacGuffin. They've just extracted it from something that is dissipating, and they look haggard and tired.
Oh, hold on just a second, gentlemen. I'm sorry. No, that was not me. What are you talking about? Did you look? Okay. Lock door. I'll be back. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
You're good. So let's say by the third room or fourth room, they come across their targets, these monsters. They've been seeing a lot of weird shit. They have not been able to interact with any of it, right? They're just seeing these things play out. And then they find the monsters and they fight the monsters. And during the fight, to T-Cal's idea, which is fantastic, the monster appears and utterly obliterates one of the monsters.
Say it again. Say it again.
So they are fighting these mutated humanoid things, which we will later find out is them.
Right.
And while they're in that combat, the Time Beast appears.
Okay. Yes.
And the monsters freak the fuck out and are trying to run and survive and maybe like do a thing, and it's just pandemonium and desperate. The Time Beast does not interact with the players at all, and it just crushes one of the monsters.
What if? Okay, so I have two things. I love this.
And I love changing this to the manor. I really like where this is going. Go on.
Yeah, making it a manner is great. What if first, when they go through a couple rooms, like describe how you have gone through this dungeon, right? And you're like in the last couple rooms, whatever, and then they find the monsters and they have the MacGuffin. They need to take it from them. They see this time being and they freak out. Now, what I really want to stress about their destruction from the time being is that it's a very existential thing. It's not just like the erupted blood. Like, just keep that in mind. That's for your own flavor. But then, what if the players themselves don't really see it? Like, they see a shimmering something. Like, they understand there's something here, and the monsters are unhappy.
To the monsters, it is real and solid.
The monsters can see it.
Characters, it's ethereal.
Yeah, because the monsters can see it.
You feel like a dark presence or something, and the monsters you're fighting are freaking out. Yeah. Oh, that's creepy. I'm getting chills. That is creepy.
Good. So then that's how that starts, right? I love that. And then we have to see one of the monsters, like however you choose to existentially non-exist them, whatever. Right. That happens. Then they go back in the past, and when they finally find the orb, right? Check this out. It's like on a pedestal with like one of those gourmet food coverings, and they go and they lift it, and it's not there. And then they see that shimmering. They see the time beast echo through time, destroy someone else, one of them, and then it appears.
Ooh, I like that. So the time beast is putting it back.
Yeah, that's where it belongs. Stop fucking with time.
Yeah. Okay. So love that. I think I have a name for our time beast. And obviously riff on this, but I'm thinking paradox. Like the time beast is paradox, and it is unfucking the paradox that you are creating by being in the wrong time.
Like, are you suggesting that as the name of the beast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like maybe the wizard
on my side table.
Maybe the wizard mentions paradox.
Right.
These halls are. Yeah. Go ahead.
These halls are governed by paradox.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They can find journals in the past. We're basically writing called. They can find like how like they hear and see strange things like ghosts. Oh, it's super haunted because there's ghosts. No, there's not. There's just one time beast that really wants his jewel back, guys.
Yeah. I like that. Oh my God, could they get within Okay, now I'm just getting myself confused because I want to say, is there a way that they could even find a message from themselves in the past?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
They search a room, they're moving a dresser.
If they figure out that they're in the past, if they figure out they're in the past early enough, there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to do that, not know how they're really going to show up in the future, but then discover that they are.
Okay, hold on. We okay, Dave, let's go back.
What if they already did that?
That's what I'm trying to get to, because it is. We went back to the beginning, 1 or 2 rooms. We drew in descriptions. We got something in there. Third room, there's the fight. There's the orb. You know what I mean? With the monsters. How are they? That's present time, and that's their past people that are the monsters. How are we switching them back
To what? I don't.
past? How are we shooting them back to the past again? I'm getting time looped.
So yeah, so after the third room, I keep calling it the third room, the combat, where they get the MacGuffin from the monsters, and we see the time beast destroy a person.
Right.
Then they take it to the wizard.
Okay.
And then the wizard says, "I don't need you anymore," and with a flick of a wrist, bats them back 100 years or whatever into the past. They don't know it. He flicks them away, and you end up in.
By the
this
way,
room.
this is going to be the manner of, because they have long lives,
The manner of what?
of an elf.
Oh, that's sweet.
They have long lives. I can use this whole painting idea with someone that has a long life like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
The wizard-
And so now it's not 100 years; it's like 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, and then you could like really, really change it. So, the important thing. So in my mind, I'm breaking it up into a couple of chunks, right? Like there's chunk number 1, which is like the railroad exposition type, right? Because our escalation, plot, conflict, all of that.
Right.
Exposition. There's 2 things that if I were running this game, I would want to do. The first thing, well, 3 things. First, introduce each other. You're like in the initial whatever. They go through the next room. They've already been told that they're almost done with this adventure. Like they're on their way to get the thing. They're almost there. Second room, they find a note that they don't understand that was written by the past people they're about to kill, trying to contact them now. Right? And they don't get it. It will make no sense. But they find that note first. Third room, then they find the creatures. And then the whole time beast thing happens, and then they do that. That is section 1. Section 2, double-crossed by wizard, send back to the past. Section 3, going through the past. Section 3 ends with getting the artifact. Section 4, going back to the present using the artifact because the timepiece is about to kill them if they don't. Section 4 goes through all of that again, and then they find, and then at some point, they can try to write the message that they had initially found to themselves, whatever. Section 4, going through the present. Section 5, dealing with the wizard. We accidentally wrote a 5-act play.
Yeah, that's really what just happened.
So, yeah. Is that okay? Hold on, I have to gut check. Is that doable within 3.5 hours?
If you keep it in a house, it is, because we lower the number of, right? So imagine, I'm back to what we have here on screen. That imagine we're not trying to do this whole thing.
So,
imagine we're trying to do something like the manor house that Robert ran us through for Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, I was about to say, so since it's a house, there are windows outside. The landscape is the same.
Oh, wow.
Right? Maybe you change some of the flora and fauna, but the mountainscape, that's the same. Or maybe it's a house in a city and it's clearly the same road, but the buildings are taller and made out of stone now instead of wood.
And if they get too close to the windows, they see the sky looking back at them, because that's the first time that they're going to like experience the past, And if they try to keep them inside, you can give the sense of dread of like, if you leave, time will find you.
Or even a dematerialization. There's something about that orb that's keeping that section of the world like in lock, to where if they hey, I'm just going to go out this door. Okay, you go to step out, your leg has disappeared.
It's like they put their leg in a bag of consumption. It's just gone. I'm sorry, you don't have a leg anymore.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
and just
because maybe Paradox is not just the monster, but it's also protecting the past from an intruder, and it does that by walling off the entire house. Because like, look, inside this house, fuckery happens, so I'm going to wall this off and I'm going to contain it.
John has a good point. Like, what if they experience an earthquake? What if there's an earthquake in the past, and then you can see the remnants of it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like the house has a broken wall that you came through, and as you go back in the present had a broken wall.
Yeah.
As you go back in that room in the present, everything's all now fine.
In the past.
Yeah.
Once you go through that room in the past,
once
it's
you
all
go in the
fine.
past.
And then
Yes.
while they're in the room, the earthquake hits and the wall cracks.
And the earthquake was Paradox killing one of them.
And man, I just have somehow I think this wizard.
Oh my
is
god,
tied in
Paradox
with
destroys the
Paradox.
walls. Like, while it's destroying somebody, you see the wall fissure.
And the wizard somehow got stuck in this paradox himself, and he needs the orb to get out of this paradox. So the present wizard that got the orb isn't able just to walk out of the manor. He still has to do this huge incantation to get himself free of the paradox. And that's why that's another time thing they're fighting against, is to get back to that point to then take their lives back over.
So what you're doing is both absolutely correct and totally unnecessary, but good for
Okay.
you. No, it's perfect, because
Yeah.
what's going to happen is that is an element to the game that the players will probably not understand, because we're just getting too much at that point.
I'm writing a story
But-
all of a sudden.
But no, that's still good because it keeps it internalized and memorable and succinct to you. It also gives you character traits, right? So like if we're just going to focus on the players' past and present kerfuckery and all of that nonsense, that's cool. That's really all they're going to get out of a con game. But if you, Rich, sometimes we do just things just for ourselves, and that's okay. So like if you understand that he's also trapped, so like think of programming and like the players are this one like little infinite loop, and he is a larger infinite loop trying to find the one instance where they get him the thing and then don't fuck him over immediately after. That helps you figure out how to characterize this person.
That's exactly what was happening, dude.
Yeah,
I was walking into that, how to give him his motive.
Well, exactly. You need that. You need to know why he's doing this thing. It may never come up to the players, but you need to know it so that if they stumble across something, you can filter that in. They find an old book of his, they find a thing of his, or something like that. So,
and odds are there's about a 30% chance once it's over they're going to go, hey, what was up with that wizard and why was he?
Right.
They're going to want to know talking about meta, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to want to know outside the game.
oh
what
yeah,
was going on in the game.
if he's an elf, right, and they live a long time, maybe.
Oh my God, he is the elf. He is the boy.
Yeah.
He is the
Yeah.
dad.
Oh yeah.
I said that earlier. Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. So he is this person, and elves live so long that the mere concept that they could actually die of old age is anathema to him.
Because his wife did. And that's what you see when you go back in the past. And when you go to his fucking library, he has like year 738. And then next to it is 738 volume 2. And the next one is 738 volume 3. And next one is 738 volume 4. Just because he keeps living that same goddamn year.
Yes. Because maybe he's trying to save his wife, and he's also, or maybe I guess it depends. Like, is he trying to save his wife from dying, or is he trying to relive his last year with her, which is his happiest year, or is he trying to make it so that he just lives forever? Like, is it a totally selfish thing that he's just, I am not ever going to die, and I have this MacGuffin that I need to be brought to me so that I don't ever have to die of old age?
Maybe he learned how not to die, and now he's trying to make it with but something happened with his wife, and he's trying to fix that, because living forever without your wife, your love, soulmate, how terrible of existence is that?
Yeah.
I think what I would do, feel free to reject it,
Jay,
is I would
Jay Gray, Charles Sorian, hey, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Hello.
I would start with trying to exist in a world with his loved one, and then as that continues to fail infinitely, it is turned into get me out of this loop. So like if you find his diaries, it'll like slowly descend into madness, because this is the Call of Cthulhu in me. It starts out as I love my wife, I wish I could. Oh my God, I love my wife. I love my wife, and that is why I have to leave her behind. I am losing my sanity. I can't deal with this anymore. I relive the same day with her dying. I need out. And it's just like the last book. It's just like, I am time. I don't know what is anymore. I am forever.
It turns into charcoal scribbles in a book.
And if they tune to the last entry, Rich, the last entry is, hold on, somebody's knocking at the door. Isn't that kind of strange? And it's the adventurers having knocked on the door because they heard there was a quest here.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know, maybe that doesn't work. Because, if he's in this time loop, how the fuck does he get a word out so that somebody comes and does an adventure? Now I'm...
I think it's like...
because he's not going to seem mad. Or does he seem mad, but he's paying so much gold you'll do it?
He seems desperate.
Desperate, yeah. Like he's overeager to get it. It's like, give it to me.
Is he the paradox?
No.
I was thinking that, and no. That's too much.
No.
The paradox has to be very different. Paradox in Latin, by the way, is...
And the paradox has been hunting him, but because of some sigils or some type of protective wards, he's able to stay in that one room.
I love BPR John's idea of the person who's trapped in this loop, this elf wizard that is betraying them. He's not the one who started all this for the adventurers. It's some like real estate agent who is like, look, I just got to sell this house. All right. So it's haunted or something. Get in there and figure it out. And when you guys were in there, you met this old man, this old elf. And he said, I'll leave and make the house available to him today. You just need to find my MacGuffin.
Oh my God. PBR John, that fits me perfectly for how I want to run a game or start a game.
Yeah, because we're all like super dark and all this stuff is like, no. There's some real estate that's just like, I got to get this house moved.
Yes. It's this old stone castle. You're this old stone manor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Digging.
Yeah.
So just so that you see what we've done, we've got exposition.
Oh, you're breaking up. You broke up. Sorry.
Oh no. Okay. So just so you can see exactly what we've done, we've got exposition, which is the fight with themselves, taking the MacGuffin, conflict, getting set back in the past, rising action that takes us through the past into a little mini climax right at the end of the past, where they take the MacGuffin away from Paradox and then they go into the present, more rising action, climax, fighting themselves, and then resolution, seeing the Time Wizard be demanifested through time?
Or they've lost.
Yeah, that's all on them. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
We made a story.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Okay. We're doing pretty good. This was only an hour so far. Is that right? Do we still got like 30 minutes yet here? Does this sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so yeah, we have the whole story arc. What is our
Let's kind of take it one more time from the top.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us what you've got?
Okay. That's a good point. That's what I did last. It feels good. So I like the real estate agent hook, right? So we got the real estate agent. There's monsters and ghosts, and there's
what is it? What is it? Gary Glittengold or whatever.
Garl Glittengold is the ghost, right? Garl. So he shows up in his little Jim Dandy gnome outfit with some gold in his pocket. And
of course, it's a fucking gnome.
He needs to have. I need to write that down, Carl.
I'm gonna step away. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So he gets them hooked, right? That's the hook. Why they're there to do what they're doing. So they go in and we walk through, and again we talk one or two rooms, but really we're talking the beginning, right? They're walking through. They're seeing all that decoration. They're seeing out the windows, and hold on.
Do you have them actually talking to Garl?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or do you think it needs to be a proclamation? Like they get out. Here's your mission. Here's your letter. Here's the ad.
So how do they get to the wizard? I guess is my ultimate question. Let's skip like the fight and all that. How does the wizard get in?
So one or two rooms. They see everything that's going on there. They walk in the third room. Oh, but they don't know they got to get the orb for the wizard. We just perverted the story. We have to have a way that they know to get the orb for the wizard, and the real estate agent's not going to do it. Or does the real estate agent just tell them it needs to be cleared, and then they meet the wizard in the first room, and he tries to get them to go on this other quest, or are they just going to murder Hobo the wizard, thinking they need to clear him?
I think if you introduce them with the real estate agent, and then they go in, get some very unrelated monsters, get an orb out of it for no reason that they have no idea about. Literally next room is a wizard being like, give me the orb. They'll be like, no. How about no?
Yeah, I think we got to go back to the idea that they're there and they already know what their mission.
Yeah, they had already been hired and they are
Yes.
on the last legs of the adventure.
Yes, I'm going
Yep.
back with that. Boom. And that just makes it more creepy that they know what they're doing.
I didn't
So
mean
we're-
to shit on your real estate. It's just the
No.
continuity got messed.
and I do. It did. It messed it up. I like that. So we're kind of back to the other one. That there's 1 or 2 rooms. We got decisions. We got things that they can see. We got, the ghostly
There are
versions.
sights, there are sounds, there are bells, there are whistles.
Yes. How people die, or via this paradox monster
That they
Then
do
we
not
get-
see initially.
That's right. It's more of the other people see, and then in the third room, that's where we have the monsters. They get the orb. They then take that back. They get sent back in the double cross, and
Yes.
go on.
I was gonna ask, like, where is the wizard at this point? Is he in the manor? I think he's in a different place.
Well, that's how do we get them back and forth? Oh, we can get them back and forth.
We can
We
just say, like, you
can.
got the orb. Okay, congratulations. Now you
Go
go
back.
back to where you've been.
Yes, so we
And-
can go back.
Yeah,
And then he betrays them and sends them back to the manor.
perfect.
And
In the
they
past.
actually wake up in the past inside room 1, where they go to try and leave the door and they lose their own body, in the sense that as they step out, they're done. Things are disappearing. That's just going to tell them immediately I'm going the wrong way. And by the way, they're playing a module. They know they're not supposed to go that way when that happens. They're going to turn around and explore the house.
Right. Because
And
now there are
then-
passages open that weren't initially. So you can, like, show that, like,
Yeah.
as they're beginning, just show, like, doors that are blocked off or, like, caved in, ways that were not possible before. And now
So
they
when
are.
they go back in after the double cross,
Yeah.
that's where they now know they need to go get the orb to get themselves unfudged. And as they
No.
go to get that unfudged, they're seeing the representations of themselves dying from the future.
No.
No,
when they
did I miss-
when they go back in the past, they
Yes.
would initially think that they've just been teleported. There's nothing really yet to show
Right.
that it's in the past. So when they go back in the past, they're going to explore simply because they're just looking for a way out.
Oh, you know
That-
what? That means I don't put him back in the first room. I put him in
Right.
a back room. Then they got to get back to the front door.
And then, well, the last room that they're in is the orb. And then they
Okay.
discover that. They rediscover the orb they had
Yeah.
already given to him. And they're like, why
That's
is
the
that?
same room they were in the last time. That's right.
Perfect.
And that's where, like, the room description is really important, because you need to describe things that hints that it's the same room that they had been in before,
Yes.
but with different artwork or different whatever, or newer versions of the same artwork, that kind of thing, so that there's hints in there that they've been sent back in time without you telling them you've been sent back in time.
Right. And the important thing here is to, when they are in the past and they look at themselves, like literally just seeing each other, they look normal to themselves. However, when they look in reflective surfaces in the past,
Yes, I
they
got
see
that.
corruptive. Okay, making sure that's clear. And then they end the past segment by getting the orb, and they have to use it so that the time monster doesn't.
Have we over fucked this?
I don't think so.
We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out.
I'm just nervous that Rich, like, it's too much.
I understand why you'd think that, but it is really only like 3 things.
Yeah,
It's like-
and when they, and really a lot of their dungeon slash, or their the good old player elements of a secret room and a trap and giant rats, you know what I mean? Those kind of things are going to be, when they're in the past, going to the room where the orb action happens.
Yep.
Now they're going to get back to the room where the orb action happens.
Yep.
And let's see, they're going to be in the room. How are they going to move from where the orb action happens to present?
So
They activate it.
They have to at some point have figured out how to activate the orb, right? The command word or whatever. right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
And that sounds like a good riddle.
because
You know what I mean?
yes, because the paradox is chasing them now.
Right.
And they need to use the orb in order to get away from it by going forward in time 1,000 years or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And the only place that we're going to now have the ability, well, and here's the thing is we spot come up where they get to see themselves in the present again and either A, decide to be murder hobos
Right.
and get rid of their present self, their future selves, and only be the present party to go fight the monsters, or parlay and now have 10 people fighting the monsters, get the orb, and then go back for the wizard boss monster.
And you have a third option where they give the orb over freely and explain to them what's going on.
They have a couple of different ways you can go.
Yeah, they will figure that one out, and they may hit you with a fourth thing you haven't even thought of.
Yeah, so don't plan that too much. What I
Right.
would do is just like have a couple bookends in mind on how you'd like to how you'd like to have that end.
Yeah. And T-Cal, I don't think the wizard is in the past. I think the wizard is only available in the present.
Right. I agree. You find his scripture in the past.
Yeah, that makes
Lots
sense.
of notes about that. I actually feel like this is a part one. I think this is a part one, guys.
What else is there?
I think there's some drafting I need to do.
Okay.
And then I think I need to come back. And instead of seeing this, like we're seeing the map here, is have whatever it is I think the map is at that time.
Right.
And then have a little bit of a adventure format layout with my notes in a Word document.
I like that.
And then we kind of walk through those pieces where I've taken these 4 pages of notes
My God.
I have it in a form that follows, like the one that I'm saving the most has the 5-point story arc on it.
Right.
And we just kind of walk through it again and we make a little bit of modification to the story.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that on that one, we're going to figure out like what your final themes are.
Right.
What your final, like, what in here is just an obstacle? What in here is the conflict?
Yeah.
You know, because there's some options in here, like maybe the time thing is more important than the wizard guy. You know, what is the final thing? The climax, what are they actually fighting? Are they fighting Paradox? Are they fighting themselves? Are they fighting the wizard?
So the climax, remember, is always an exploration of the theme. And because it's an RPG and because it's a game, that depends on what they want to do. So the theme to me is obviously because of time is like, what does it mean to like want to change the past for reasons? And that's why you get to see like the wizard. He's already decided, right? He's decided what he would want to do with a changed past. So what we need to do now is allow the players the time and the meaningful interactions to see that they have an effect on the past and the present.
Right.
And that they get to choose how they wish to interact with the past, which goes forward. And that's a really fluffy way of saying, like, giving them tons of options, like showing them their effects on the world. And then right at the end of the fight, like you see those monsters you saw in the beginning. What do you do now?
Okay. How about this? You could bury a lot of that in a really cool vehicle or a really cool method. When they're in the past and they're coming up with what to do, they might say, I know, let's write a note to ourselves because we passed by this room. You go to write the note. And as you complete the note and put it away in the thing, you then describe, you remember walking through this manor and you came across this piece of paper that said these things and it didn't make sense to you at the time. And you ignored it. Right? And then and then they could say, okay, we're going to try and do this. And you can describe what the impact of that was. As like if it was something that was going to interrupt them on the way to doing this.
Yeah, no, I see what you're trying to do, and I love.
Because then it really is like, okay,
it's like,
yeah, then it really is like, how do I, with full knowledge of what is already locked in place, how do I now affect the future?
It's like telling them the effects of an action they haven't taken yet.
Right.
Imagine that. Like, really imagine that, Rich. Like, you walk into, like, you're like GM. It's like you walk into a room. You remember the contents of the drawer that is in the vanity. There's a letter there, and it's for you. You remember writing it. That's strange. And then you go to it and you open it, and then like there's the letter telling them knowledge that they used to have that they now have. So it's like it's like you need to have an alternate, like this whole history already planned, so that way you can tell them the effects of things they haven't done yet.
Wow.
But dude, that would be so trippy as a player.
Right? That'd be like absolutely insane. And then that gives even more weight to finding the wizard's notes.
Man.
Where he's trying to communicate with himself. And then at the end of it, right, after all of you've experienced these various different timelines and now you see where we are, what do you choose to do with this?
Dude, I love this.
That's agency.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so Rich, I really enjoy this idea of you going back to your little like Rich workshop.
Yes.
Because Rob and
call
I,
it the editing dungeon.
yeah, Rob and I have vomited on you for the last hour and a half with ideas and thoughts. You know,
And I'm still confused.
And we touched no mechanics.
no,
'cause
yeah,
they're all there. This
Yeah.
is story.
yeah,
This is really what it is. This is story, and this is
Is
what's
this-
going to make them have fun. Is the story?
Is this significantly different than what you would normally do?
Oh, dude, this is a 180-degree turn.
yeah. Because like there'd be goblins, there'd be orcs, there'd be a ballista. You know,
Yeah,
there's traps.
we would have already worked
One
out.
of these things is not like the other.
Yes, this is building what we talked about and having this arc and having this idea. And and as we were going through my example during all those podcasts, it was, I don't have that. Well, yeah, you do, Rich, kind of in this way. And some of it was a little bit in that way, but this is completely different.
Well,
This is completely different and exciting. I think that they're going to have a blast. This does remind me much more of a Doctor Who game.
as we were saying in the podcasts, like you can do top down or bottom up. You
Right.
do have a lot of these things, but you did them backwards for what I do, which means that I do them backwards for what you do.
I think I just need to workshop this, and we need to schedule next Monday.
Okay.
I don't know. What does everybody's calendar look like?
I'm super down for another one. This is what is
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I super want to do
Yeah.
this again.
I think I just need to get this into a Word doc, and or I'll do it in a Google Doc. How about that? And we can all
Yeah.
be in at the same time.
Ooh boy.
How about that? So I'll get it into a Google Doc
Keeping
and
the
get this
agency.
all framed up,
I love it.
because I think there's some aspects of it that, yes, I think we're going to see some things that we want to cut, and I think we're going to see some things we want to expand on.
Yep.
And I think we're going to see some new things. And so I think it deserves one more sit down.
Yeah.
I will also find a map that matches the manor. I'm going to do a little bit of copying of Robert's, where it was a top floor, a standard floor, or first floor, second floor, and basement. Because I think that added to the story too, having them have a little bit of places to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that also lets me sprinkle in things such as, oh, how do we find the basement? You know what I mean? Or what's the trap on the way down to the basement? Or, what's the monster that's taking up residence on the first floor or on the second floor?
You know all of the D&D dungeon
Yeah.
type of place.
Yeah, those are all the fun things. That are the little tidbits of, I get to use my sword. This is a story. And this is what's going to make it go longer, or make people at the end go, man, I want to do that again.
Right.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that when you fill it in with all the tidbits, is to continue to make them thematically consistent.
That's what's in my head right now, is trying to figure out how that works.
That's why I want to end this on talking about the theme, because you're absolutely, like, having a bunch of like tribal goblins in here doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, it does not. And that's kind of where my head's at on a problem that I would have to go looking. I talked about the giant rats, right? Or a rat swarm, or rats at all, right? With the basement, well, rats kind of fit in. With the second floor, maybe with the broken attic area, spiders fit in. Oh, great. Now there's spiders. I get to have a save versus death. You know what I mean? So there's some fun things that you can move along. But yes, we should not have a pack of kobolds living upstairs.
And Rich, will you let BPR John draw for you Paradox?
Yes, he can draw it 100%.
Sweet.
And then we will make our own little stat card with his drawing.
So,
I think
so John,
that would be awesome.
I think just to describe it very quickly, the first time they even sense it, they don't see anything. It's like a heavy presence in the room that you just feel as the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Like your own self is terrified of something that you don't see or really comprehend.
No,
right?
Man. Yeah, you don't play Call of Cthulhu. You enter this room and you see a monster. He has strange appendages. Natural. And he looks scared because you feel something in here and he's not looking at you, but he's looking near you. And you feel, you see, you remember your deja vu and the future at the same time. You are every when. And the monster on the other side of the room, it explodes into nothingness. And all at once, everything settles. And all you've lost is your breath.
Wow.
I'm glad this is recorded.
We did record this, right?
Yeah,
we did
this
record
is all recorded.
because I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this. You need to just dump this on YouTube tomorrow.
Yep.
Like
it's on Twitch. It'll be on Twitch. It'll be on Twitch.
Good. It'll be on Twitch.
Yeah.
It'll be on Twitch, guys.
Yeah. And so the second description, when they actually see the monster,
yeah,
I think that Rich, you're gonna have to come up with some thoughts there on like,
yes,
is it tall? Is it small? Is it fast? Is it that kind of stuff?
Yes.
I mean, I know people are going for Doctor Who, but it's things for me. Rich, do whatever you want. I don't think it moves. I don't think it has to. It exists at all times in every place. It just kind of blinks.
What if it like distorts the walls or distorts the, like, you don't see it, but you feel it by a distortion, a visual distortion.
Right. Like when it swings its arm, the trail that it leaves behind is like a fast forward of time in that one little spot. So yeah, break your head. There you go.
That's trippy. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. All right, John's going to need a description, something that he can draw. Something that he can...
I can do that.
All right.
And I'll hit him on Discord. And by the way, we have a Discord just for anybody who's listening or watching that would like to join us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should join their Discord. It is fun.
There's buttons down underneath
a Pax South crazy room, and people can drop anything.
We have a Pax South room in the Discord.
Oh, look at that. Wow, I ought to go to the Discord more than once a week.
Yes, Rich, you should.
Hey, I did get there 3 times in the past week, I think.
It's true. It's it was a banner week.
And the most ever?
It was definitely the most ever. By like at least 2 times.
All right, so
in a 7-day period.
On Monster for John.
So this was a lot of fun, and I like this a lot.
Yes, T-Cal, you should definitely be on the playtest group. You should definitely. I think it'd be fun to playtest this with the Shelfies.
I think that would be a great idea. Number one, I love the idea of afterwards getting some offline. I'm not too sure I can do it online. Get some constructive feedback from you and Robert about running that module.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be so cool. I love this idea of like DM workshopping together. Look, whenever I make a game, I'm doing it alone.
Yeah.
You know,
dude, this is totally different, but it's exactly what I wanted.
Like I now want to make my next game with the 2 of you, because the idea
that you make me self-conscious. I'm doing it alone.
But what?
I'm joking.
What? But like the idea of
this has been awesome. I've enjoyed.
I think my 2020 like message will be DMs, talk to other DMs about what you're doing. You know, like this whole thing, I've never done this before, and it has felt so good.
Shamelessly steal their things.
And you know what, guys? I literally look at this Forsaken Lair of Bucha. You see how it's all laid out? L has numbers.
Yeah.
As we go into it, is all their ideas for what
Yeah.
should be on all those areas.
Yeah.
I seriously could print this out and have a backup to where if I go on site and the first game's terrible, it's okay. I got a dungeon crawl ready to go.
You're like, this whole timey-wimey thing did not work out. Whatever.
I'm going for
here's a bunch of kobolds and traps.
Yes, that's exactly what this is. The Forsaken Lair of Bucha.
So I'm going to
that.
show you something.
Oh
Because
man.
back when I was in high school and made my own adventures, we came up with this creature that was insane. And you were asking for a name, and you don't need to use this, but this is a name. This is the name of my expanded universe of Croy RPGs. Strange, you don't fucking get it. You could never comprehend this monster.
Hold on, I
And-
gotta find my Discord. Hold on. Are you
I know
showing this on Discord?
it's going to be in the chat, in the
okay.
Twitch chat, so that everybody
In
can
the
see it.
Twitch
And
chat.
this is how we spell that. That's mine. Chicxulub. That's like some prime 16-year-old Rob.
Yeah. I was about to say that reminds me of making Black Spiral Dancers out of the werewolf books. They had a lot of like CHs and Zs and Xs and shit.
Yeah. The U should have an umlaut.
Oh, so it's a
Chicxulub.
lube. It's a lube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicxulub. He's
Yep.
He was chaos manifest because you believed there was not order in the world. But anyway, so yeah, this has been really, really cool. I like it a lot. We should do part 2. Keep it thematic, and then you'll come back at us with like more rigid notes for us to not talk mechanically about it all.
Yeah, so chat, let us know what you thought of this. I definitely want to do this again. So I think next Monday, do we want to do same time, same place?
Let me ask
Yeah,
Cass.
yeah, we'll figure that out. And
You
get
know
it
what?
scheduled.
What? Yes, we can do that in our Discord room.
Yep. Okay. So
'Cause
are
we're
we
popular.
good to like start dipping into some announcements?
Yeah, I think it's
We
great.
have announcements.
Okay, cool. So first and foremost, we are really super excited to have you, Rob, because you've been on so many of our episodes about RPG storytelling and now doing this practicum, which was a big experiment for all three of us and really paid out.
I like it a lot, and I'm excited to do this sort of thing with actual systems in the future as well.
Yeah, so Rob, where can they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv Croyote. I also do The Table Is Yours, which is specifically Legend of the but if you'd like to see me more specifically in a gaming sense, you can go to my Twitch, and I believe Dave is posting that right now because he is kind and good. You can follow me on Twitter at Croyote Gaming. Let's see here. I think those are the main ones. And on my Twitch channel is a link to my Discord where you can find me. And as I am currently unemployed with a bad leg, you will find me there at most times.
I'm highly available right now.
Oh, you say that. Hold it real quick. Disco Elysium, there's a part where somebody's like, "What's your name?" and you don't know what your name is. So Cass is like 6 hours into the game, still trying to figure out what her name is.
What?
And there's a part where they get really close to telling you your name, like addressing you by your full name. And she's just like, "Give me my name, guys. Keep my name. Hey, thanks for the follow, DTP." And it's like, "Give me my name, guys." And they just like wouldn't do it. And they're like, "Okay, so what's your name?" And he's like, "I'm between names right now." And like that's a thing he says to somebody.
Oh, that's
I'm
glorious.
between names as I'm between jobs as
That's
I'm
right.
between modules.
So yeah, this has been fantastic. I love hanging out with High Shelf. I've been trying to get Dave to play Masters of Nyarlathotep with me. I'll see if we can swing that.
Yeah, I mean, like after 7:30 is pretty magical for me. A lot of things become possible, and I know that's too late. So we'll have to work on this.
Is it only 7:30 on weekdays, or because I'm thinking bi-weekly Saturdays?
Yeah. I mean, even weekend, because like when the boy is awake, I need to be there.
No, I'm happy
Yeah.
to do it later.
Yeah.
I want to do it later, bi-weekly Saturdays, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. And
So thanks for having me as like just weird pseudo repeating guest.
no, this is great. This is great. And I want to do more of this. And I like the idea of us doing more videos. So kind of as we're getting near episode 100, as we're getting near or into
Ooh.
year 2 and all that kind of stuff.
That's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be doing more of this stuff. I'm working on a Patreon, so all these things are going to happen. But from a PAX perspective, from a convention perspective, this coming weekend, I'll be at PAX Unplugged. And so catch me there, guys. Like, let's meet up. Let's do a thing. Let's grab a bite or whatever in Chinatown across the street from the convention center. And then PAX South in January. Rich, you're going to be there running this game.
Yes.
That we just made.
Yes. 100%. And by God, by the end of 3 days or 2 days or whatever that is, I am going to be the master of this one.
Yeah. And
so
you're
going to put your own spin on it and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be totally different by the last game. And then that's
sure.
something we could even talk about later.
I want to do
how did it go?
Is how
I do a postmortem.
Yeah, how it evolves throughout play and what you figure out. And I need to add in this, and I just took this thing out because it wasn't working and all that. I love that.
Just like anytime I DM Dave, he always finds a way to mess up my modules.
If the wall is climbable.
Yeah, there's going to be a Dave there that screws it up for me at least once.
Yeah, T-Cal, PAX South is in San Antonio in January. Is when Rich is going to run this game that we just played. Now, we will hopefully get a playtest in on the stream before then so that Rich will have run through it once or twice before he's at PAX South. This is something that you want to do. If you're ever running games at a convention, you want to be really familiar with the game that you're running. Like, you wanted to have run it once or twice so that you know how it's going to flow and where you need to pick up the pace a little bit and that kind of thing. Because at a convention, you got the one shot. And all those people gave you their time, you know? And you want to be respectful of it.
Yes, you want to be able to give them the experience that makes them want to come back and do things like that again, too.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're in announcements.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Are they making custom characters?
Yes, but that may have to change.
Because there's pre-gens, you can give each of them something they regret about the past.
You could even make a little chart and say you have to roll on the chart as part of character creation.
Another great thing I do is I like to throw out index cards and go, everyone has to pick one.
Oh, I love that.
And I do that with other things, too. I just go, okay, everybody has to pick one of these.
That's how you give out magic items. Is the magic item is a little note card with, you know. Yeah.
That's super cool. And if they have something they regret about their past, you don't even need to do anything with it. Just the idea that it's there with such a heavy time themed game would be really good.
Yeah, DTP PAX South still has tickets available. I don't know if the full 3-day pass is still available, but definitely there are tickets for at least 1 or 2 of the days. PAX Unplugged still has tickets available for all days. Oh yeah, PAX South. All 3 days are still available. Here, let me just toss this in the chat. So anybody who wants to play in this game and other games, we're working with PAX South to run the RPG zone. So we're going to have our signage up, and like our Talsorian who checked out, who was in here for a little bit, they're like providing us games to give away. There's a couple other people providing games for us to give away at PAX South. So there's like a whole thing that's going to happen at PAX South.
This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I mean, we only have like 6 role-playing tables. So it's not like a big role-playing section, but
So
we
it's
really
like
want
30 players.
Yeah, but we want to grow it. You know, we want to like put in some stuff and kind of make PAX South a bigger RPG event than it is, cuz it's a small RPG event and it could grow a lot bigger cuz there's not a lot of RPG cons in San Antonio.
No.
Yeah.
Dave, would you be willing to help me? Well, I mean, you're probably willing to help me set up all the things that I would need for my RPG.
Yes.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, super willing. Absolutely.
Yeah. The thing that's holding me back right now is I need to figure out how many players, but then this whole Discord display capture.
Dude,
nonsense.
It's a mess. Yeah. I will
disgusting.
help you. I will help you.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, if we get in a pickle, dude, I'll just like set it up on mine and like hand you the stream and you put it on your, you know, like
I get it. No, we'll figure that out.
whatever we got to do. I want to make sure that you're in a good place.
So then for everybody who's over on the high shelf thing, I got to go. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you. DTP, thank you very much for following.
Yes.
If any of you play Rainbow or Monster Hunter, want to do stuff like that, you can see me Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 to 2 p.m. EST over on my channel. And then whatever other strange times that come up like this.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, cool. Rob, thanks so much, dude. Rich, do you have anything else?
No, sir. I almost have a little headache because the time warping thing just, oh god.
Yeah, as we started the loop, I was like, I don't know.
It got better by the end, but let's see what I write versus
Yeah.
what you guys think I'm going to write.
Matt, no, Matt, my mind is fine. I play way too much Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Actually, oh yeah, you mean
Yeah. Let's do
selves
that.
go in the future and can't die? I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Everyone at home, thanks a ton for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and peace out at this point. So, as always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase!